We know that it's all over, still we haven't said goodbye. Pretending life is wonderful, pretending you and I. Why do we stay together? We can't wait forever. Ever's too late. Only heaven can wait. Waiting for love won't make it happen. And crying for love don't mean you care. Oh no, listen. Only when love has ended can a heart be mended. Ever's too late. Only heaven can wait for love. Heaven can wait for love. In horoscope, in true romance, in Playboy magazines, we lie in bed at night, searching pages for our dream. Why do we stay together? We can't wait forever. Ever's too late. Only heaven can wait for love. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, family. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Mental House. I am your host, Khadijah. Woo, I have really got a lot of emails sent to me in my private inbox. So I want to thank you. I want to thank each and every one of you subscribers out there. I see it's just growing. And I really appreciate y'all being out there. And just keep your questions coming. I don't profess to be a expert. I know I'm just old enough, and I think I've been on the planet enough, whether I articulate everything correctly, but I think I've been on the planet long enough now that y'all know that some of these things that I probably can answer just by experience alone. So I really appreciate you. I really appreciate your confidence. Now, what I wanted to talk about was, well, boy, a few things. I don't know, because I got to keep this video at a certain amount. I want to keep it around 12 minutes. So if I happen to go over, I'll do the next videos on another vlog, okay? Well, the first one I wanted to address was She-Devil, I'm sorry. And She-Devil asked me, she was wondering if I could speak on narcissistic mothers and the relationships that they have with their daughters. Oh my God, listen. I could go on too much about that, but I'm going to suffice it to say this. One thing that I do admire about the community at large, which is the control group, I always like to say the dominant group, but I really appreciate their approach to mental health. Again, in my culture, mental health is a stigma, and I'm glad that a lot of you guys are opening up and talking about that, because in the black family, I'm going to give you an example. Dr. Mark Goulsting, and I love the author of the book Just Listen, he said something real prominent and on the Zoe Williams show, and he was like, well, can't you go and tell your mom, listen, Mom, I really don't like the way you talk to me. I think that it's very disheartening to me when you put me down and everything that you say is has a negative connotation behind it, and it stays in my psychic for a long time, and I really wish you wouldn't do that. And one of the comedians on there, I don't know who it was, but he said, yeah, If you say that to a black mama, she's gonna look at you and she's gonna go, "What? What you say? Well, let me knock your ass." And that's pretty much how we respond. And I can't speak for no other culture, but I know we will, as black people, respond that way. So that's why it's really hard to get a grip on mental health issues because of that type of response. So I appreciate each and every one of y'all that have African descent, that you open it up and realizing that we sick. We have a pain body that is not only from the Atlantic slave trade and all the pain that's in our DNA from that whole madness. And pain carries on. Trauma carries on from generation to generation. Now you know that your parents and your grandparents, whatever, who probably were raised by slaves, you can just imagine some of the dogma that we're going through, just not on the level of a personal level, but as a culture as a whole. So I already know that we have such a unique problem that I want to make sure that I always acknowledge that. Yes, people are people, but Africans have a very unique story, and they have the most unique story of all humankind. So if we don't acknowledge that, then we're being narcissistic in itself, right? So I'm just glad anybody that comes from my culture that's willing to open up and talk about our mental health issues, because it's something that we've been trained not to do. Everything stays in the family, keep it in the closet, and that's why we're even more sick, because we're not meant to do that. Okay? Well, this she-devil was wondering, or if I could speak on that. I want to let her know, no, she's not hallucinating. You're not hallucinating. In my opinion, most of these mothers at some point see you once you begin to hit around puberty, have your own thoughts, and they're not enmeshed with hers. She begins to feel some type of threatened by that. Whether you're developing, maybe she sees you, especially if she wants someone that was very, very hot or sexy at some point, and if she's bringing some guy around, or she walks outside with you and she notices that you're getting people looking at you as opposed to her, all of those things present a threat to her, and she feels herself losing control. A lot of times with these mothers, they project onto you what has been projected onto them. Well, say like if they have been raped or molested as children, they'll be real quick to call you a slut. And if people have questioned their mental health when they were children, the first thing they'll do is call you crazy, or just things of that nature. In my opinion, it's because she sees her role decreasing and your role increasing, and it presents a threat. She sees your autonomy as a threat, and not being able to control you or your thoughts. And Lord have mercy that your thoughts are 100%, 360-degree different from hers. Then you have a problem. Then you may have the gaslighting. Usually this is what happens. When the mother sees you maturing and evolving, they'll gaslight you, make you think you're crazy. That's a real good one. Mom, didn't you say, and she clearly said it. Those are, you gonna wear those shorts? What's wrong with my shorts? What do you mean? You said I should. Am I gonna wear those shorts? I didn't say that. I clearly heard you. No, you didn't hear me say that. I mean, that type of stuff. Gaslighting, smear campaigns. There are some of these mothers who will actually go all through the family, in the good name, of course, in a smiling or a victim type of aura, describing your behavior as such challenging behavior. Well, I know about she-devil. I love her so much, and I try to help her so much. But the more I try to help her, the more she, seems to get out there on the limb. But I'm gonna keep on trying, because that's my child, yada yada yada. So the person that she's talking to on the phone, now they're thinking about, oh yes, she devil, you got some issues. And then of course, like our families, and then they'll just spread all through the family. So now she devil has got this aura of the big crazy person that wants to harm the mother, and all these kind of crazy things that the mother has conjured up. And because of her jealousy, disrespect, and basically in apt way of expressing her feelings, she projects all that hatred onto her daughter. So yes, I do know that there is significant, I mean not always, but 9 out of 10 times, sometimes the guy is this scapegoat, but usually if there's even one daughter, I've seen it where there's one daughter, like, and 5 boys, and the boys could be horrible. They could be jailbirds, they could be people that you could be totally ashamed of their behavior. The mother will cater and nurture them with no help, I mean with no structure, the same madness that made them present that behavior in the first place. She'll keep nurturing, and then she'll look at you as the one who's the problem in the family, because you may tell her, hey listen, he needs to go to jail, or he needs to, this is blah blah. They'll turn on you. It happens more and more. I mean, it happens so often. So yes, that's true. And another thing, I want y'all to know that I do agree with you on this, she devil. Dysfunctional families will galvanize around the dysfunction and go after you. And they can clearly know. I mean, they can really have no significant relationship with one another. But if they are ganging up on you, and if one narcissist calls the rest of them out, this type, they'll lunge together, build a circle of a wall to try to destroy you. And after they destroyed you, they'll go back to their living their separate ways. So they only came together for one common ground, and that was to destroy you. Yes, there are some mothers that are that hateful that they will definitely do that. They will get with all your enemies. They would help talk about you to your enemies. They don't even have to know your enemies. They will side with your enemies. They will do a smear campaign against you. Yes, yes, yes. So that's why it is important that you go minimum to low to no contact with these people. I know some of us are in a situation where you can't go totally no contact. You can't. And you know what, no matter what the situation is, if you've gotten too old and move around, if you've just discovered this at 68 years old, it's kind of hard to just move around. And there are some people who wake up, like I said, and find themselves in this situation, and it's not as easy to go no contact. So you have to minimize your contact with these people. So if you are a daughter experiencing this kind of double standard treatment with your narcissistic mother, don't try to explain to anybody. Don't even waste your breath. You might need that breath on your deathbed. Don't even try it. Just know that yes, that's their blueprint, and it seems like they all study out the same book. Really. So you do you. Don't share any information with her. Keep your focus on yourself and your healing, and you will be okay. Because yes, there is a double standard, honey. And no matter what you do, she's not going to acknowledge you for the great, wonderful daughter that you are. She's going to always put you second fiddle to anybody. They can have the worst behavior on the planet, but it's going to be better than yours. Okay? Alright. So, keep the questions coming. I really appreciate it. If I don't get to it right away, you know I'm going to get to it. Okay? Thank you for listening. And join me on Facebook as well at w.Narc. Alrighty? Okay, we'll talk next time. Bye-bye. In the mental house.